Hey guys, Travis Freeman, pastor at Jardigan Chapel Missionary Baptist Church, and I just wanted to take a few minutes to put this video out, kind of detailing what things are going to look like for us. We're super excited. I hope you're as excited as I am about us getting back in the sanctuary. That is coming up July the 12th, so not this Sunday, but next Sunday. We are super excited about that, and so we wanted to reach out to everybody through a video so that we could reach our member body, but also those that may be looking to visit with us. We're looking forward to seeing you, so we wanted to make sure that everybody was on the same page and knew what they could expect from us and what it was going to look like returning to church. I've made mention on our Facebook Live services for months now that when we come back, and then as it's gotten closer, that it will look different. Things are going to be different than what they were in March, early March. And so I want to go over some of those things so that it may alleviate some concerns that you have if you're looking to visit with us, or if you're a member and you've been going there forever, you're not real sure what things are going to look like. That way, everybody can have the same expectations and know how things will go. We are going to do our best to follow the recommendations for houses of worship, and by that, it's not a guideline, but it is a recommendation, and we want to be prudent in following those recommendations, and by that, we're going to do our very best to practice our social distancing by staying 6 feet apart. We're also going to ask a couple things. If you're not feeling well that day, as much as you want to be there and we want you there, we would ask that you not come. If you've been running a fever in the last couple days, we would ask that you not come. Or if you've been exposed potentially to someone that's tested positive to COVID-19, we would ask that you not come. That's just for everybody else's sake that will be there. We want everybody to be comfortable. We want you to come in as different as it will be. We want to make it as pleasurable as it can be in the worship experience, and being able to come in and be able to worship without concerns and worries when you get there. And so some of these things sound silly. I never thought that I would pastor and have to talk about some of these things, but for where we're at right now, obviously we're not going to be fellowshipping. There won't be any touching. Okay, we're as much as some of you guys, and you know who you are, as much as some of you want to hug everybody's neck, we won't do that. And that's for those that may be uncomfortable with that still. I'm not going to lie and say that I've not had a hug from somebody, but we don't want folks that are uncomfortable maybe with that to have to deal with that at this time. So we'll thumbs up on, we'll figure something out, but we won't be doing that. There will be no choir singing. We'll probably have Jacob lead us in a song or two, and kind of like we've been doing, Carla, BJ, Andrew, somebody, we'll have a couple, 2, 3, 4, I don't know, worship songs. Hopefully we'll just be led by the Spirit in that, but we'll do that. And so that way we won't have to worry about the fellowship part of it. Our plan is to have the doors open at the back when you come in. You won't have to worry about touching the doors, never who's touched the door before you. We are saying that masks are optional. We're not mandating masks. It's not a necessity to be able to come in. We do understand that there are people that want to wear a mask, and we would encourage that if that's what makes you feel comfortable to wear one. We will have extra masks there in case you get there and maybe you're a little overwhelmed and you say, hey, I'd just like to have a mask. We'll have some to provide for those that want them. There have been a lot of requests for some earplugs, I think, be passed out right before preaching, but I've shot that down, so no earplugs will be passed out. And so those masks will be available to you. Each family will sit together, and so some of you may have already been complaining about that. You may not want to sit with your kids, and for the time being, that's how we're going to be. Kids, you may not want to sit with your parents, but that's how we're going to do things for the time being. And the way that we're going to do that is each family that comes in, whether it's a family or an individual or a couple, you will be seated by someone, usher for the lack of a better word, will seat you. So you need to go ahead and get into your mind that that's going to happen and that you are going to be seated more than likely in a place that you don't normally sit. We understand that that may make you uncomfortable. Go ahead and pray through that this next week, so that when you get there, you just aren't worried about where you're sitting. You'll be seated by someone, and the way that we're going to do that is, as we've done the math and looked at this to try and keep our social distancing, we're going to look at seating no more than 6 people within 2 pews. And so, for example, if you were to take the first pew in the church on the right side as you walk in, you went to the very first pew. If we had a family of 4 that were sitting up there, on the inside part of the pew, we would leave that other spot of that pew open. No one would sit directly behind that family in pew 2, and we potentially could put a couple of 1 or 2 in pew number 2 on the outside, so that diagonally we would have 6 feet. You wouldn't be directly in front or behind, and we would work our way back through the church on both sides of the church, which will allow us the opportunity to seat everyone that has responded, with plenty of room for visitors to be able to come. If you want to reach out via Facebook, or if you've got my number and want to say, hey, I'm going to be there, just so that you'd feel better about that, that's fine. If you're not a quote unquote member, but by all means, we want to invite you. We've made accommodations to be able to seat everybody and to stay within the social distancing guidelines. For those that are not comfortable, we've had some folks reach out that have said, hey, I'm just not ready to come back yet, pre-existing condition, whatever, just not ready. We will continue our Facebook Live. We'll continue to broadcast that, just so that everybody that wants to be a part of that can be a part of that. We have some folks hours away that are taking part in that, and that excites us, and so we don't want to strip that from them. And we're excited. I know I've said that, but we're excited about having you back in the sanctuary. I want to say, if you need to use the altar, you can use the altar. There's some of you that I know real well. After 12 weeks or plus of no church, longer than that, you probably need to use the altar. Probably just walk on in, and we will, obviously, as much as I hate to say it, we'll try to do our best. Within that, everybody's not going to pile on you at the altar. As much as I've always said, we need people up there. We can use some good common sense in that, in still supporting somebody that may need to pray. And once again, I never thought I'd be talking about this, but that's where we're at right now. And so, want you to know that is that somebody may be weak and need some strength, and maybe you need just a time of refuge because you've been through a storm through all this. There's definitely a place there for you with that. So